welcome to the Festival of Storytellers. I thank everybody that's involved with this process because we know writers need readers and writers need publishers.
Experience is not about the publisher, it is about us, the authors.
Our next featured author, today we have a very special guest with us, Tish Barnhardt, minister, teacher, author, and lover of God's Word. Tish believes in living a purposeful life and applying biblical principles to every aspect of her life. She is passionate about empowering others and helping them reach their fullest potential both in God and in every area of their lives. Letitia is also a devoted mother to three handsome young men, Jeremiah, Daniel, and Joshua Vaughn. Today, Letitia is here to discuss her latest book, So You Want to Be a First Lady? In this cautionary tale, Letitia sheds light on the challenges that women married to pastors or men of great prominence may face. She reveals the overwhelming pressures that come with their partner's fame, fortune, and notoriety, which can lead some women to desperate measures, including seducing another woman's partner. Through her book, Letitia brings attention to the suffering endured by many first ladies and women in similar situations who are often silenced and unable to express their pain. She explores the universal experience of feeling alone and without anyone to turn to due to fear of judgment, embarrassment, or shame. So You Want to Be a First Lady is not just a tale of struggle, but also offers readers nuggets of wisdom after each chapter, providing valuable insights and guidance. It is a book that aims to empower and uplift women who find themselves suffering in silence, offering a glimmer of hope and support. Join us today as we delve into the compelling message behind Tish Barnhardt's powerful book and explore the importance of breaking the cycle of silence and finding strength in unity. Let's all welcome Tish Barnhardt, for the author of the hour.
Storytellers and hello world! Welcome to the grandest online event of the year, the Festival of Storytellers Chapter 5. My name is QR and we're currently live across all of our social media platforms. So please don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe to all of our social media channels. All right, and today we are going to interview the author of the hour, the woman behind the book, So You Want to Be a First Lady. Let us all welcome Tish Barnhardt.
Hello! How is everybody doing?
Hey, Tish.
Hey, QR.
How are you?
I am well today, sir. Thank you for asking. I'm so excited about doing this interview with you today.
All right. I so love your background.
Well, thank you.
All right. You're so pretty in gold.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
All
QR.
right. Yes. So, Tish, let's go ahead and start the session.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, first things first, who is Tish Barnhardt?
Who is Tish Barnhardt? Well, listen, Tish is a person that you definitely want to know and follow. There's some great things that God has been doing in my life, and I'm just so super excited about it. As you can see, of course, I'm an author, right, of two books here, Morning Tea with the King, as well as So You Want to Be a First Lady. I'm also a minister of the gospel, and so I just believe, QR, that
Mhm.
in applying biblical principles to every aspect of my life, I'm telling you, without my faith in God and his leadership, I just don't know really where I would be today. So I'm so grateful and thankful that I've had the opportunity to come to the Lord and know him as my Lord and Savior because, like I said, without him, I'm nothing. I'm also the author of three handsome fellas, you guys, Jeremiah, Daniel, and Joshua Vaughn. Those are my heartbeats, you guys, and they definitely keep me on my toes for those of you that have any children or boys all together. So I am so grateful to be here. But that is who Tish Barnhart is.
You've been a minister for how many years now?
Since I think I got my elder's license in 2002, so a long time.
Long time already. And you like what you shared. You have two books published, right? We have So You Want to Be a First Lady and
Mhm.
Morning Tea with a King. Which
Yes.
one was published first?
Morning Tea with the King was published first. And so,
Morning Tea with a
yep,
King. Okay.
yep, that was
All
published first.
right. Can you tell us more about it?
Well, of course, I'd be happy to tell you more about it, QR. So, Morning Tea with the King was inspired through God, obviously, too. But I am a tea lover. I used to drink coffee all the time, before I would go to work or at work, I'd have all that,
Yep.
right? But then,
Yes.
I became a person who was like on this health kick, wanting to
Mm,
make sure that I was putting the right things, in my body and stuff like that. Now, I do still have a problem with something like the fudge brownie ice cream. I shouldn't probably be putting in there, but but I wanted to learn about things that were good for my body, and most
mm,
importantly, things that were right here within the earth, right? And so I
yeah.
a tea fanatic and not a coffee fanatic anymore. So I would drink teas like green tea, like eucalyptus tea, lemongrass tea. I got all kind of teas up there, And so instead of how you have the coffee set up with all of your
Yes.
creamers and different things like that, I got my coffee maker in my room with all teas everywhere. Okay, so when anybody has anything going on, they know who to call. Hey, what kind of tea can I drink for this? And so I love, love, love that. But God
Okay.
gave
Mhm.
that to do, QR, and to put, definitions in terms of what those particular teas may be good for. Now, certainly you want to go and check with your practitioner because Tish isn't a practitioner, right? She's just a voice of God, right? So, but nevertheless, these are things that are right within the earth, for us. And so
Mhm.
I believe that people will definitely benefit from the inspirational read each day as well as the teas given.
So it's safe to say that there's something that happened from, personal experience that brought you to writing this book, right? Because it was a transition from a coffee lover to a tea lover,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. And see, and one of the things I'll share too, and this is after I had my second child, Daniel. I don't
Mm.
know what happened. We went to church that day, and then I came home and I could not walk. Do you hear me?
Oh,
I mean, I could not. I tried to stand up, and it was like I would be toppling over or falling over, And I didn't know what was going on because nothing had led up to that or anything like that. But I don't know what happened. So my ex-husband at the time, he went out and I went to some herbal shop that he had seen down the road. And
mm-hmm.
when he got in there, he said that there was this lady that was standing on this ladder. And so he was telling her about what was going on with his wife, and she couldn't walk and all this other stuff. And so she said, okay, I got something for her. So she gave him what was called miracle soap. Right. So you guys can look it up on your own, miracle soap. And so she said to run her a bath, put her in there, she'll be fine. And so my oldest son was, I think, probably one at the time, right? And so when he came over, they were trying to get me into the bathtub and stuff. And so when I got in there, he started jumping up and down and clapping, saying, "Yay, mommy, you made it, you made it." And so when I tell you, after I got out of that bath, I could walk. So I don't know
Okay.
what kind of stuff was up in these herbs, but whatever it did, it touched my body, right? And so
Yeah.
over the years, um, Like I said, I've just been on like this health kick. I've never run to anything traditional first. I'm always going to
Mm-hmm.
run to, the herbs. I'm going to run to an herb shop. I'm going to look at the word of God. I'm going to try
Mm-hmm.
to see what I can find naturally that I can do to help me in this situation. And that's what I've always done. And so, but yeah, so that was kind of inspired, from that scenario, as well as just other things, but I thought that was very befitting right now.
So that was the pivotal moment that made you, this is something worth publishing and worth reading, worth sharing. And thus you were able to come up with the very first book, um, Morning Coffee or Morning Tea with a King.
Morning tea with the
All
king.
right. I
Absolutely.
wonder who's the king is God.
Yes, the king is God. You get to wake up every day with him, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yes, the step
Okay.
having your morning coffee, and I'm not knocking the coffee lovers out there, but yes, get up and have your coffee if you want to, and you don't want to drink the tea, but you can still get the word, that's shared in each of the days there. So it's 90 days, and so, but yeah, you wake up with him on each morning doing your daily devotional, and that's what this book
Mhm.
is. It's a 90-day devotional book, and so it will have you inspired and certainly empowered.
It's a 90-day devotional book.
Yes,
Correct.
it is. Mhm.
Okay. Right. Now let's talk about the other one. So you
Okay.
want to be a first lady. Now my question is, Tish, are you a first lady?
Well, I am no longer a first lady, but I am a former first lady. So most definitely, I can resonate, from the story, obviously, and
Hmm.
certainly from a lot of the stories that I've heard, and talk with other first ladies concerning. And so, but yeah, so I'm not a current first lady, a former first lady.
Okay. Because I want to understand what does it look like, and the story behind the book, because these are totally different books,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you've shared the reason behind the reason behind publishing Morning Tea with a King, and I'm wondering, what's the story behind, the First Lady book? Tell us more about that.
Well, I think the story behind it is that there are often times that the first ladies of churches or even those that are married to politicians, football wives, basketball wives, whomever, any man of great prominence, there are
Mm-hmm.
things oftentimes that their wives experience and they suffer in silence. They don't really know who they can talk to about those personal struggles that they might be going through. One, for fear of judgment. They don't want to be judged by anyone, and two, they don't want anybody judging their man. Obviously, right? You don't want
Yes, yes.
anything like that. So you suffer sometimes. You won't even tell your friends, about it or your family about it sometimes because what are they going to be quick to do? They're going to be quick to judge them. Girl, get on away from there, or whatever. So, but we want to, provide, a glimpse, into the life of Carol Smith, who is the character in this book.
The
And
character. Mm-hmm.
yes, First Lady Carol Smith is the character in the book, the First Lady in the book. Yeah. And
I
so that's the story behind it.
I understand the dilemma because you're in pain in silence, but at the
Mhm.
same time you also want to protect everyone,
Yes,
your husband, your
yes,
family, the
yes.
family's reputation, right? How did the first lady able to manage all of those?
You know what? I believe that it was really through her faith in God and her
Mm-hmm.
relationship with God that she was able to weather through a lot of those storms, a lot of those
Mm-hmm.
situations, or what have you. I believe God gave her the grace to be able to face it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and one reason why I say that as well, there are some people that have read So You Want to Be a First Lady, and they're like,
Okay.
there is no way I've been able to do this. There is no way I would have slapped somebody, shot somebody, whatever, because the story is very transparent, and I believe that God wanted to do it that way because we really can't reach people when we sugarcoat things. You understand what I'm saying,
Mm,
QR? So
yeah.
people want to really know that you've been where they are right now. And in fact, I did a listening party to So You Want to Be a First Lady, some time ago when the book was first
When
coming
was
out,
it?
or out before it came back. This was probably in August, of last year that I
Mm,
did a pre-listening party. Um, And so, with that being said, I invited, some people to come and take a listen to the first chapter. And so I had put together, I guess, an acting crew, and so we all played the characters, in the first chapter. And
Wow, okay.
yes, we did. And so, with that being said, one of the persons, that was on there asked for a meeting with me the next week. And what they said to me was, you know what? I'm here right now. And so, you know what that did for me? It helped me to understand the assignment even the more of why.
Mm,
So, you want to be a first lady. So, some people may look at it and, say whatever. But at the end of the day, this is an assignment from God because He wants to be able to deliver and set free many women out there that are suffering in silence that don't have anyone to talk to. But see, now they can
mm,
talk to a person like myself, a person like, many others that have struggled
mhm,
in different areas that don't mind sharing from that place of vulnerability. So that they
mhm,
too can get what they need. So, what if she never came on there and heard this story that identified with different places within her own life that she was currently going through? And so
mhm.
she's not the only person that I've heard from, and different comments that was floating in the chat while the story was going on. I mean, it was so amazing. And so I'm just so grateful and thankful to God for giving me that book way back in 2006, QR. And so I was in the middle of a service one day, and he spoke that, so you want to be a first lady, and I'm like, well, who in the world am I going to help? You going to write this book to help some first ladies? Who? Because I've only been a first lady for 3 years. How can I help anybody? And so sometimes we'll judge ourselves, and we'll think that we can't do, just like the roundtable session from last night, that I was on, and you gave me that topic to talk about. I'm like, why me? I don't know nothing about this, but you know what? I embraced it, and
Yeah.
I learned, some things. And so that's what, this is all about. It's about uplifting the kingdom. And so that's what we want to do.
Now, I understand that the word faith is actually very relevant to this book. What role, faith play in helping us navigate challenging situations?
Well, the Bible tells us that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So while First Lady Carol Smith is going through all of these situations that she's experiencing, not only with her husband, but also the
Mm-hmm.
parishioners, in the church as well. So she wanted to see her life change. She wanted to see her marriage change. She wanted to see relationships, even with those within the church, change. She wanted to see that change. And so she kept holding on to her faith in God that it would change. And so I would tell anybody out there that is believing God for anything, is to stand fast in your faith. He says, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, And so we know that
And
in this story here with First Lady Carol Smith, there were many things that she had to face. And if it had not been for God and her faith in God, good gracious, I don't know where she would have been.
And I understand this book really is something that a lot of women can relate to. They
Absolutely.
may not have experienced being a first lady, but my
Mhm.
God, the challenges, right? I
Mhm.
believe it's going to be common across all women.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
if you don't mind sharing exactly what do you think are the common challenges women in our society are facing right now, and how can you help them and how can you empower them?
So I think a lot of women, do suffer in silence, because they don't feel like they have that voice or that they can actually voice what they are experiencing without the judgment. I know that there's many women out there that their
Mhm.
self-esteem has been shot, whether
Yes,
you are
yes.
experiencing, things within your relationship, whether it's infidelity, whether it's being talked down to, whatever it may be. Sometimes those things can take on,
Hmm.
take root in you and cause you to back down, cause you to step down on who you are. It will cause you to not want to move forward. You'll start to believe the lies that are being told to you. And see, we know the enemy, that's what he does. He comes with us with all these sorts of lies and tells us these things because he wants us to stop doing what we're doing. right? And so you can be a person that's flourishing out here, and then you got somebody, some old negative Joe Blow or negative Sue or whoever that makes a negative comment or says something negative about what you're doing. And guess what? You start paying attention to that. And when you take your focus off of the assignment that God gave you and you put it on this one negative response or two or three or how many ever it is, you got to be able to outweigh them both. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
How many people
Yes.
is this helping? And who is the one or two people that don't like it? So I'm gonna go with God all day because I have more people, that are being helped, that are being freed, and so forth. So that's right. Audrey Bill says, "Stand in your faith." Yes, I'm gonna stand on my
Yeah.
faith with God to know that He called me to it. And so, guess what? Those people are gonna get their own personal freedom and healing from it. And so that's what it's all about.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a more personal question, right? Because I can see the fire, burning. There's so much in you that you would like to share. What was the turning point that finally Tish Barnhart decided to publish a material such as this, which is totally different from the first one? What actually happened that made you decide?
Well, like I said, God gave me this book back in 2006, right? And at
Hmm.
that point, I didn't know who I would help. I wrote it down in the book or whatever, and I kind of just like dismissed it, right? But as
Hmm.
life happens, and over the course of my life, I was able to experience some experiences. I was able to hear different first ladies, perspectives and different things that they've gone through. We've seen so many scandals, on TV from prominent people in sports, who politicians, even pastors, even. And so it
Hmm.
became more evident of why this book. Why put something of this magnitude out? And one, because it definitely is exposing the enemy. And so, with So You Want to Be a First Lady, it kind of brings us behind the closed door of the church, to what really goes on. And it doesn't go on in every church, but in most of them, it is. And so, with that being said, we kind of push it under the carpet a little bit, and we don't talk about those things. We don't talk about,
Yes.
the pastors that maybe having affairs or whatever with their
Taboo
or
topics.
whomever, and we
Hmm.
don't talk about those things. But the real reality is that we want to, cover the man of God or cover the woman of God. But there are people that are actually hurting from that are sitting in the pews. And some of them don't even go back to church, because of something that was done to them or said to them or whatever, the case may be. So I think that So You Want to Be a First Lady is very relevant for this time and this hour right now, for us to be able to kind of clean up some of the things that we may be doing. And hey, it doesn't mean that you don't fall, because sometimes we do succumb to what temptations or whatever. We all haven't been where we are today or anything like that, so we're a work in progress. But the reality is that we've got to want to do better. We got to want the
Yep.
change that we're seeking and make that change.
And make that change, correct. And this book, it all starts from this book. It all starts from this story. I have this feeling that the book actually is like, you may not have that support group, but the book will let you or will make you imagine or think that it's not just you who's hurting. Others have also experienced the same thing,
Yes,
right? And it's not the end of the line, you know.
absolutely.
The character in the story was able to manage everything that happened to her, right? And so you too, it can happen to you. You can manage and you can stand up after all those hardships in life, right? Now,
Absolutely.
for everyone who's watching us live right now, Tish is actually a teacher, not just an author, but also a minister, a teacher, and does have her own podcast, right, Tish?
Yes.
Yes. Mind sharing about us about your podcast and your website?
So, yes, so I am the host, of course, of the Tish Barnhardt Show. And so that show was birthed from a necessity of being able to provide a platform for people to be able to come on and share their stories. Because, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, hey, First Lady Carol Smith has a story to tell. There are many other people that have experienced things in life that have a story to tell. And so people are wanting to know that there's somebody out there that has experienced what they have or is going through right now that they can listen to. They may
And they're
not
not alone.
be,
That they're not alone.
Right, that they're not alone and that they can relate to what they're saying. And so I've had
Exactly.
plenty of guests, to come on the show and share from that place of vulnerability. And I'm telling you, it really has helped many people. I have had some people to message me in the inbox and say, hey, can you bring this guest back on? Or, hey, what more was it to this story? Or asking me different questions.
Really?
We only have a 30-minute show, right? And so we can't pack everything into that 30-minute segment because, of course, we
How
got intros, commercials, and everything else. And
how
so they,
often do you go live?
hmm?
How often do you go live in your show?
So it's once a week
Once
on
a week.
Sundays. Yeah. So it does replay itself, of course, on Wednesdays and Fridays. And so right now, we need to get geared up for season 3. So we haven't gotten the episodes recorded yet for that. We do have them in the pocket. So certainly stay tuned for when
All
season 3
right.
come out. But you guys at Readers Magnet have had me so busy here that the Tish show has kind of took a little back seat for a second, but hey, it's definitely coming back. So we've got some shows in the pocket that we need to get recorded. So definitely stay tuned for that.
For those who are watching us live, stay tuned for the Tish Barnhart show. Right, weekends, right, Tish?
Yes, on Sunday evening.
Weekends. And Tish will keep us posted with the time and schedule as to when will that be aired. Okay? All right,
Yes.
Tish, question. So, um, you've been doing podcast, you've probably did some counseling as well. What was the most difficult question you ever received from someone?
Mm, Goodness, now that just put me on the spot. A difficult question that somebody's asked me. Um,
Yeah.
I can't really think of one because I'm just so open,
Mm,
to it, and I've just become that way, because that's just what's going to bring healing, for somebody. And like last night in the roundtable session, we had the vulnerable moments there,
that's
with the blogging and things like that, and exposing that side. Hey, I don't know anything about this. I voted, so, but I can't think right now, QR. But
that's fine.
Angela,
Yeah.
I'm
And you know
sorry.
what? I guess Tish, sometimes there really are questions that don't even have an answer. Like they just need to be raised. They just need to be asked,
Hmm.
right? It does not need a direct answer, right? Or there's no answer yet to it. And it just need to be
Yeah.
raised in order for the person to feel good that at least he was able to vent it out. Do
Absolutely.
you agree?
I do
And
agree with
I believe your show, the Tish Barnhart show, I may be miles away from you, Tish, but the women, from other countries in the US, from other continents, if they get to listen to your show, that's the group, that's the circle that they need to be in order for them to feel like they're not alone. It's not just them who's been through these struggles, and they can bounce back, right?
Absolutely. And, I'm glad that you brought that up too, QR, about different countries, because I had no idea that I had someone that was viewing me from Europe as well as
Oh,
in Australia. And so they had reached out on Facebook and was like, hi, woman of God, thank you so much. I was listening to you and this really helped me or whatever, from the show. And so you never know who's watching you. And that's one thing that I've learned, just from doing the show and, making posts or whatever videos on Facebook as well. I had no idea. And so someone had reached out to me one time before and asked me if I would come on their podcast, and be willing to come on their podcast because they had read my book. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know you had a copy of the book. And they're like, yeah, you don't ever know who's watching or who has what. And
exactly.
you don't. So all you do is that you just put your best foot forward and come out here with the content of whatever God has given you and see how it pans out. And for me, it has been panning out really, really well. And so I'm grateful that I took the leap because I, for a long time, battled with this book. I battled writing it. I battled getting it out, because of the magnitude of it and the transparency of it. I battled. God, I don't want to do this book. Can it let this cup pass from me? Can you not pick somebody else to write something like this? You know, but
You,
no.
you you didn't just stop in getting it published, but you made it, available for everyone to for available to everyone across the globe. You made it known right? You
Yeah,
even had your own podcast because at some point, it's not enough to just get your book published out there and that's it. And you believe that your story has already reached your audience. At some point, we still need to do more. And
absolutely.
you are doing more, Tish, more than more. Right? Okay. All right. Here. Let's play a game. We call this hashtags. All right. So Tish, here's what we'll do. I'm going to flash a word on the screen, and then I'm going to give you time to share your thoughts about these words. It can
Okay.
be your personal experience, anecdotes, or anything, which you believe are, will best describe the word.
Okay.
Okay?
Let's do it.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I think I'm ready.
All right. Let's do this.
But
Okay.
we're ready for show.
First word is dun, 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 hashtag survivor.
Survivor. Yes. I'm a survivor. I'm a
I'm
survivor.
gonna
Yes.
give up.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
you know
give
that
up.
song?
I'm not gonna stop. I'm
That's
gonna
right.
work harder.
That's right. I'm gonna work harder. Guess what? So most
All right.
definitely that is what that means to me. There's so many things that I've experienced, over the course of my life, from a young girl, even into a high school, college, marriage, and so on and so forth. And so, with that being said, those particular things that happened, they did happen, but they made me better. Right. And so I didn't just, go away and just, took, everything that happened and said, okay, woe is me, But the reality is every experience that we have in life,
Mm-hmm.
we can do something with it. I tell people now, take that pain and turn that pain into purpose, because I'm telling you, ooh, good gracious, there's so many things, that I could be bitter about, but the bitterness, that stuff is gone. You know,
Yeah.
I am better today than I was yesterday. Those situations
Don't.
did not define me, nor do they define me. But I am who I am, and I am who God called me to be, and I will continue to survive. So it doesn't matter what rocks come what may, or whatever. As long as I know that God is on my side, guess what? We're going to get through this. And you out there watching, you can get through this as well. Nothing that you are going through is worth you throwing the towel in over. Not at all. Your voice needs to be heard. So stand up and let it be heard, girlfriend. Stand up and let it be heard, friend. Okay? You
All
can do
right.
it. Survive
All right.
and thrive.
Don't be bitter. Don't be bitter, but get better.
That's right. That's
All
right.
right. Okay. Now our second hashtag is
Choice.
hashtag choice.
Okay, so you know what? We all have choices, right? Every day you get up, you got a choice in terms of what you're gonna do. Whether I'm gonna have bacon and eggs, or if I'm gonna have some yogurt. We have choices every day. So it's up to you in terms of what you do. But
Mhm.
make sure that with whatever choice you make, that you're gonna be okay if there's a consequence that may follow. So some
Mhm.
choices that we make aren't always good, right? We can think
Yes.
it's good, or it's leading us to a great place or whatever, and then sometimes it doesn't. And from that, you need to be able to learn from that choice and make sure you don't make that choice again, right? But
I've made a lot of wrong choices.
Kira, you're so crazy.
I was about to ask you, what was. Anyway, let's continue.
He said, you are full of stuff over there throwing these fireballs out.
I don't want to put you off guard.
It's okay. It's okay. If I can answer it, I will.
Yes. Okay. So options, options, options. We do have a lot of choices, right?
Yes, we do.
We have the option. We have the choice to live our lives, or and continue. Keep on keeping on, or we have the option to just stay stagnant with where we are at, and not grow.
Hmm.
That's our option. It solely
Yeah.
depends on us. Am I
Facts,
right, Tish?
facts all day. It depends on you.
Yeah.
It lies
Yeah.
within you. And don't make choices
Okay.
for other people either. You know, I find
Mm.
that
Oh.
sometimes we make choices based on what someone else might think or what someone else may want us to do. And that may not be the right choice for you. It might not be the right avenue for you, the right area for you, the right thing for you to do. It might not
That.
be for you right now. Doesn't mean that it's not, but it could not mean right now, you know? So you got to understand, where you are and really seek God, about these choices and things that, come up sometimes because
Mm.
they could lead you in a good path or they could lead you in another way. And so you want to make sure that you're moving the way God wants you to.
Also, I want to piggyback on that because um I agree that you should not make choices or decide for someone, but also for that person to come up with a sound decision, he needs to be mentored, or he needs to be with people who are only looking up for his progress,
Hmm.
because it's so difficult because you cannot just let someone, leave someone and let them decide on whatever they want, because we don't even know if their choices are right or not. They need to be guided,
Hmm.
right? Would you agree with me? At some point you need someone else's advice, and it's up to you to
Yeah, of
weigh in
course.
your options.
Of course, of course. Yes, of course. We
Hmm.
definitely do, need to be able to talk to some people, to get advice or gain advice or whatever
Hmm.
on different things. And that's you weighing things, right? But
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
end
yeah.
of the day, the choice is going to be
Hmm.
yours.
All right. Okay, third hashtag. Dun, 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 dun. Our third hashtag is chance.
Ooh, chance. Now, I like chance. I like chance because there's so many times that we have opportunities. And sometimes we don't like to take risk. We don't. We want to know the details of everything. And
Mhm.
I'm that type of person where I want to know the details. Now, listen, don't come to me talking about this, this, and so without giving me some details. But what I have learned is that I may not always get all the details. That's
Mm,
what this walk is about with God, our faith walk. He does not always give us the details of what he's going to do. Just like when he gave me the title of that book back then and said it's the book you're going
mhm,
to write to help first ladies, to tell me the magnitude of it. I had no idea, nothing else. I was just, okay. But when you take a chance and you see that after stepping out here, everything that unfolds from it, I don't want you out there to be scared to take opportunities. Don't be scared to. I'll tell you a short story. So, of
please.
course, Reader's Magnet called me about my book being recommended to them by Amazon or whatever. It's a good read, blah, 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 whatever. Right. And so as they began sharing with me and said, hey, we'd love to take your book to Frankfurt, Germany, to the world's largest book fair. And I'm like, oh, wow, well, that's good. I'm on the phone saying, yeah, that sounds right. That sounds good, blah, blah, blah. And so when I decided to go with it and said, yeah, let's do it, the author relations manager called me one day and he said, hey, Tish, I'm Red and I'm going to be working with you with this project. And this is what we're going to do, laying out everything that was going to be done. And so then he asked me this question. He said, so Tish, are you going to go along as an author with us to Germany with your book? Are you going to be out there with your book? Because some authors are going. And I was like, um, and the reason I was like that is because I had never been out of the country before, never been out of the country. And two, I didn't have a passport. I'm like, how am I going to get over there? Like, because this was in September, I think, when you guys reached.
Yes, last year.
Yes, September last
Yes.
year. And Germany was like in October. And so I'm like, oh shoot, like I don't even have time to get myself together to go out here. And so I was just pondering, on it. But see, it was a chance for me, right? It was an opportunity that came to give me a chance. And so as I continued talking to Red, all these things were going through my mind, like I said, don't have a passport. Okay. I've never been out of the country. Oh my gosh, got to
Mhm.
fly over all of this water. Oh my gosh, I got to try to get finances together because I got to get a ticket. I got to do this and a hotel. All this stuff was coming to mind, right? And so, you know what I did? I said, you know what, Red? Yes, I'm going to go. I didn't know where everything was coming from. I didn't. I just leaped out there and said, yes, I'm going to go. And guess what? After I said yes, everything started coming together for me to go. And I found that I could get a passport the same day. Now, I had to wait a little bit down there in Atlanta, but I did get it the same day. The finances, everything came together for me to get a plane ticket, for the hotel, everything that I needed to come together for me to go came after I took the chance, without me knowing all of the details of how I was going to get it done, right? So this is what
Yeah.
I'm saying to us out there. Sometimes opportunities come and you don't know where everything's going to come from. All you got to
Mhm.
do is give God your yes, and then he'll take care of the rest. Okay? Give him your yes, and he will take care
Take
of the
care of the rest. Amen to that. And look where it led you now. You're
yeah.
now sharing your stories, inspiring not just women, but everyone,
Yes,
inspiring everyone who's listening to us right now,
absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that you actually took that chance. And for everyone's knowledge, it was that event where Tish met our team for the first time.
I did. Yes, I did.
Yes, yes. And you were with Patricia,
Yes, my
your
friend
dear
Patricia
friend.
came. Yes, she did.
Yes,
She
yes,
did. She
yes.
did. She came. And you know what? I don't know what I would have done if Patricia was not with me. She is an old coworker of mine. We've worked at several different places together over the years, and so she knows my boys from when they were babies, you know.
We
And
can give a shout out to Patricia.
yeah, shout out to Patricia.
Hey,
She
Patricia, if you're
might
watching.
soon because Patricia's going to be with me on Tuesday in my office.
Oh,
Yes, so Patricia's
okay.
John and everybody. I saw John make a comment. Yes, Patricia is going to be
Oh,
there.
John, there. John just said, "Thank you, God, you joined us there. I will take your advice about family to my grave."
Yes,
There.
John.
All
That's coming
right.
from the vice president, you guys, of Rita's Magnet.
Yes.
That's huge. That is huge. I'm so
We'll
glad.
be reading comments and questions later.
Okay.
Okay. We were so engaged with the conversation that I missed there were some questions here. But don't you worry, guys. We'll go ahead and read your questions later, okay? All right. Where were we again?
We're talking about chance. Look, take that
Yes,
chance.
chance.
Take
Yes.
your rest.
Yes, yeah. Now let's have the fourth what do you call this word or hashtag change.
Change. Ooh, now
Yes.
that's good too. Because sometimes we as people naturally don't like change, especially whenever we are used to things a certain way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Agree.
for our jobs, for example, you've been used to one boss and then all of a sudden he decides to leave and you got a new boss coming in and now you don't know what to expect. Oh my gosh, I've been able to do this. Blah, blah. So we don't embrace change very well. But here's a real reality for us. Change is good. You shouldn't want to remain in the same place that you are in. You should always be ever growing, experiencing new things, going to new places, doing you. Okay. And so
Mm-hmm.
change isn't a bad thing, you guys. Embrace the
Mm-hmm.
change. And I'm so glad that I embrace this change, you know, and took this opportunity with Reader's Magnet here. I'm so glad I answered that phone. I can't tell you how many times my phone has rung since I have been with you guys with all these other opportunities and different things like that that are going on and happening. And I'm just
Mm-hmm.
so grateful, to have come into contact, with you guys and for being able to meet the team and the management team. I had no idea who I was going to meet over there, but I was like, oh my gosh, the vice president has come to me. And so and Caitlin and everybody that was out there, and it just, became heartfelt, and so I am again grateful for the opportunity. And I want to tell anybody out there listening, take a chance, on your
Mm-hmm.
and embrace change.
Change.
You don't know anything about it sometimes, what it's going to look like or anything like that. Embrace the change. Guess
Mm-hmm.
what? Because you can be the light that shines in that place.
Exactly. And also, Tish, I think it's more on also understanding that comes with change or um what do you call this? Because they're not because there are certain things that needs to be done differently. So there'll be uneasiness, right? Because you're not used to this, you're not used to that, and that's part of change. And you need to understand that process. Because
Absolutely.
if you're not willing to undergo such process, then you wouldn't change for the better.
Absolutely. And that's so on point, QR. It really, really is. It's so on point.
All right. Our last hashtag. Hashtag woman.
Women.
Woman.
Okay,
Woman, woman,
listen,
woman.
be
Yes.
empowered.
Yes.
Be empowered, women. Listen, you are valuable. I want you to know that. You were created a woman for a reason. I think because, we're smart and beautiful and all that, right? But listen, women, it's time for us to rock it out, okay? The men are doing their thing, but it's time. We can do our thing too, right? There are people that we can impact all over the world, not just in your local market, but all over the world. You've got a story to tell. You're somebody, no matter what your situation was or is or has been or whatever, you were built for this, girlfriend. And so, guess what? In you being built for it, you're going to help build some other women too. So, let's empower each other. It's not about being jealous of this one or that one. I'm not jealous of you for what? Because what God has for me is for me. And guess what? What God has for you is for you too. So we get so caught up sometimes, competing with one another. And that's something that
Mhm.
I want us to break as women. Why am I in competition with you? Why? There's no need for me to be in competition with you. If you're better at something than I am, then listen, let me glean from you. If you know something, that you can share with me, why not share it with me? Instead of want me to be where I am. But see, sometimes that's how some women are. They don't want you to get where they are or further than they are. They definitely don't want to share nothing with you about how they're doing things or whatever. And hey, and I get that you can't share everything with everybody. I get it. But there are some times that, God will utilize us to have some people, that we can carry along, that we can empower, that we can impart into. And so that's what I desire to do. I desire to be that messenger, that voice, that whatever I can for another woman because I understand, what it's like to struggle. I understand, what it's like trying to find your voice whenever it was beat down or talked down. I understand what it's like to have to come through various different situations and dealing with low self esteem. Looking at other
Yes.
people and like, oh my gosh, like what in the world? Like, maybe I'm just not this anymore. And talking, myself out of situations and things. But guess what? God created me and He created you too. I'm powerful. I'm bold. I know who I am. And guess what? You can't stop me. Only I can. So nobody can stop you out there, girlfriend, but
All
yourself.
right. All right. Okay, Tish Barnhardt making a statement, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Of course, no one else can stop you but yourself.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So now, let's check some questions here, Tish. Let me see. All right. Let's go ahead. Okay. Doing a live podcast, have you encountered rude questions? Do you just ignore comments and questions?
So on my talk show, I interview guests. So they're not actually interviewing me, per se. And so
Mm-hmm.
when we do the talk show for the Tish Barnhardt show, of course, everything's pre-recorded. So I'm doing the pre-record before we actually go live or have it shown live. So I don't really get any rude questions there because certainly I'm the one doing the interviewing. Now, one thing I would say that if there was a different circumstance and I did get a rude question or something like that. And I will say this now, because I was on Periscope some years ago, and I was actually on giving a word and different things like that. And there was someone that was in there just making all kind of little comments and different things like that in there. And guess what? It was live, and they heard it live. And so I said, "Get off my line, talking this craziness. Get off my line." And I kept doing what I was doing. That's it. So I was just that bold enough to say, "Hey, get off my line." Now, some of you may not want to be that bold or may not do that, but I did. I said, "Get off my line, talking that noise," and I went right back into what I was saying. So, you do want to ignore that and not just, continue to let that keep you from doing what you're doing, because really that's what they're
Mm-hmm.
there for, to disrupt what you're talking about. And so you can't bring yourself down and start, commenting on everything that they're saying on there. No. And so then there were other people that started commenting and saying, "Ignore that person," or "Why are you on here saying this?" And I just kept saying what I was saying, given, what I was given as far as the message was concerned. But yeah, so just ignore folks sometimes.
All right, there you have it. Okay, another question by Ahoy Slacker. Okay, was there a point in your life that you shut your emotions down because not having someone to run to? Because you don't have someone to run to.
Absolutely. Absolutely, I did. So I
Mm,
wore a lot of things. You don't want people to know, your business. You don't want them to
mm-hmm,
know anything about what's currently transpiring in your life. And so, yes, I will say I covered things really, really well.
mm,
Because one, like I said, you don't want to bring embarrassment on yourself or anyone else or any other parties involved. So you try to figure out how you can deal with it. And so, like I say now, I definitely would encourage anybody that is dealing with anything emotionally or physically or whatever to seek out somebody that you can talk to. Because with myself, I became bitter. I did over the years. I became bitter. And not only that, sometimes whenever you keep emotions and you keep things inside, it brings about bitterness and even sickness, right? So I became hurting all
yes.
over the place. Like, what's going on with me? I'm running back and forth to this doctor trying to figure out things. And the real reality is that I was stressed. I didn't realize I was stressing myself out, but I was stressed. And we deny stress a lot of times because we don't want to accept that we are. We wear so many hats, we do so many different things and stuff like that till we're just going, 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 and we're not taking care of us. And so you got to take care of you so that you do not have a nervous breakdown.
All right. Always look for a good support group.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, another one. All right, Tish, what made you decide to write this book? Was it your inner self that asked you to do it, or was there an external factor that made you do it?
Well, this book was one that was inspired by God. And thank you so much for that question. I was sitting in the midst of a service one day and I just heard it dropped in my spirit. "So you want to be a first lady?" And it was like God was sharing with me that He wanted me to write this book to be able to help first ladies. So this definitely is not, and I will say, is not a book that I just thought up myself to do or say, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to just go write this." No, it was something that dropped in my spirit by God for me to do. And I gave God my yes, even though I struggled, cried, all this other kind of stuff. I even had a crying party to my boys once. I was like, "God is want mommy to write this book, and I just don't want to write this book, and I'm just doing and everything." And so, my boys, one of them was like, "Mom, write your book." Because at the end of the day, you're a single black female raising three boys. Write your book. And so, you know what? They freed me. I was like, "Okay, you know what? I will do just that. Let me write this." And so I began to put the pen to the paper.
All right. Okay, let's check some other questions here. Okay, let me just go through the comment section. All right, by Zenki Mooney. All right, your smile and demeanor is very contagious. I know. Tish is very contagious. I can feel your energy from the screen.
Okay,
Definitely.
the screen.
All right, shoot in those questions, guys. All right, by Audrey. Okay, I like that every question does not have an answer at a time. Oh,
Absolutely.
yes, yes,
Absolutely.
yes. By Olivia Brown. Do you have an Instagram account? I'd love to give you a follow. Go, Tish.
Oh yes,
Those
follow me
socials.
on Instagram at Letitia at Latissua. So my name is spelled a little unique, you guys. So it won't be the regular way you see Letitia spelled. So at Letitia, Latissua. Thank you for
How
the
about your Facebook
follow.
page?
Yes, or my Facebook page.
Yes, yes. And your website too. It's www.tishbarnhart.com.
Yes,
Right. Books are available. Both books are available, correct?
yes, both books are
All
available.
right. Now let's go ahead and quickly check on your Amazon page. This is why who's currently watching us live right now, you need to grab a copy of So You Want to Be a First Lady. We'll be reading some of verified purchase comments on Amazon.
Ooh, okay,
All right. Okay, Tish, are you ready? I'm going to read some.
okay, let's do it.
Okay. All right, let's do this. Okay, this comment was posted uh November 12th, 2023 by Jonique L. Van. She gave you or he gave you a 5-star review. It's a
Okay,
verified purchase.
yeah,
Okay. I love the transparency and the details in the book. Although written in novel form, anyone that has been married to a pastor or minister has experienced some of what has been prayed out in this book. We can see what happens when things go uncovered and dismissed. And many husbands are like Pastor Leroy. Some would say he was focused on the Lord's works and not paying attention to the advances or disrespect of his wife. But his wife should have been the priority. Let me repeat that. His wife should have been the priority.
say it again a
Please,
third time.
should his wife should have been the priority. All right. Please be wise and take heed to the signs. When you, men, can't see your spouse is there to cover and protect you, listen to her. She's been assigned to you for purpose. Maybe this book will help in breaking the cycle of silence wives experience the ministry for ministry's sake.
Yes, that's
A round
beautiful.
of applause for that.
Yes,
Another
beautiful,
one.
Monique.
Another one. Let's read one coming from. Let me see. This is from Pastor Anita Macy. This was posted November 25 last year. She also gave you a 5-star review, Tish. All
Yay.
right. Okay, let me read it. Wow. I am so proud of this author. I'm sure she experienced some of these things firsthand. However, she has always shown strength and courage. It saddens me to know that although the book is fiction, many of the accounts are real. Continue to write and encourage others. This book is enlightening and jaw dropping at the same time. I pray for the first man in ministries as well. I am grateful for my husband as he allows me to walk in my calling with integrity. I pray that many others will read and change from this book. May God bless you. Amazing.
Good stuff.
Amazing. All right. Okay. So we basically have 2 more minutes left. It felt like, not we just talked for a few minutes actually. We're almost an hour already on screen
Yeah.
or live. Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, Tish, let's take this time. Please go ahead and plug in your socials, where they can find you, where they can grab a copy of your book, and how can they follow you online. Go ahead.
Absolutely, absolutely. So definitely I want you guys to pick up a copy of So You Want to Be a First Lady. Certainly you can find it on Amazon.com. You can also find it on Walmart.com, Barnes and Noble, any of the retail outlets where they are selling books, you can find it. Now, if you'd like to get a personalized autograph copy, certainly you can go to my website, www.tishbarnhart.com. And there I will receive that order and I will personally handwrite an autographed copy for you. And I definitely want to encourage you guys to follow me, of course, on Instagram at Letitia You can also follow me on Facebook at Letitia Barnhardt Bond. It still has the Bond on there. So, but that is where you can find me. So we're definitely always putting things up there for you guys and content and different things like that. I want to thank each and every one of you that have tuned in to this interview today. And thank you also to Reader's Magnet and the team over there for allowing me to be a part of the Festival of Storytellers, Chapter 5. Look, getting tongue-tied. The Festival of Storytellers, Chapter 5.
You're welcome,
So
Tish.
much for
It has
that.
been a pleasure. It has been a pleasure, really. All right.
My
Okay, everyone. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. It was fun. It has always been fun, having Tish on the show, right? And thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys learned a lot, right, Tish?
Absolutely.
Oh, by the way, Tish, do you have any upcoming events in the next few months?
So, in the next few months, no. Well, we do have London coming up, so I am
Like,
planning to attend London with you guys. Of
mm,
course, stay tuned for season 3, of course, of the Tish Barnhart Show. We
Tish
definitely
Barnhardt
need
show.
to have that season started up by end of February. That is our goal.
All right. Okay, that's it. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you guys had fun and at the same time learned a lot from our very dynamic and ever gorgeous Tish Barnhart. Okay.
Thank you
As
so
we say here in Reader's Magnet, we share your story with the world. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Welcome to the Festival of Storytellers.
I thank everybody that's involved with this process because we know writers need readers and writers need publishers.
Experience is not about the publisher, it is about us, the authors.